Greetings everyone, it's Asher1954 here, welcome back to another video. And today's video I'll be talking about how I became a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. This is kind of a late post, this is a late 12-year anniversary for the franchise's 12-year anniversary. That was a few days ago, which was on Saturday, or last Saturday, so this is kind of similar to how I did my kind of little bit of a story how I became a Godzilla fan, but this time I'm doing Five Nights at Freddy's. So pretty much just like how I became a Godzilla fan, I've basically been a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's since 2015. I was probably around the time Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was out because I think that's when the third game came out, which is third and fourth game actually, if I'm correct on that. So I was basically in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 slash Five Nights at Freddy's 4 era, which is 2015, which is basically how I became a fan of Godzilla back then. So where do I start? Well, I started became a fan thanks to my good friend Jaden, who was also trying to get me into being a fan of Transformers. So thank you, buddy. And I think he introduced me to the franchise. I think I saw him like playing the first Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like, this is interesting. I might have to look into this. And I know some of my family members were against Five Nights at Freddy's because kind of I think it was kind of how messed up the kind of like how messed up it was, because we all know how Five Nights at Freddy's is and whatnot. So yeah, I other than that, I basically I've collected a lot of stuff from this franchise. I had plushies. I still have a couple of plushies. I used to have shirts of Five Nights at Freddy's. Um, I used to have a hat that I think I had a hat of the Nightmare animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is also my favorite. Other than the third game, other than the third Five Nights at Freddy's game, the fourth game I love so much. Even I think I would call that one the scariest because it's more different from the past Five Nights at Freddy's, like 1, 2, and 3, and whatnot. I'm a little bit stuffy, so don't worry about that. And yeah, I used to play. I used to play the it might have been the first game and the fourth game on my old tablet. I don't know if I ever played the third game. I might have played the third game. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. So it's been quite a while since I actually used that tablet. So yeah, and obviously I was on YouTube at the I was also on YouTube during my late era of this channel. Just basically posting whatever. I would call that the early years of Action Zone 1954, which is me, obviously, or this channel. But I used to watch a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's songs, animations, and whatnot. And obviously moving on in a couple. Also, during the years past in 2015, I still am a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I still play the games, and before I continue, as I was talking about the plushies, I I have this big Freddy plushie, which is I don't know who made this, what company made this. I might have kept the tag. I don't know. I probably didn't. But I've had this plushie for a very long time, and I am not getting rid of this plushie because this was a Christmas present. This was originally a Christmas present back then from when Five Nights. I think it was when Five Nights at Freddy's was still selling stuff. Well, like toys. It's still going on still and whatnot. So, anyways, continuing on. Obviously, when I heard when there was a movie of Five Nights at Freddy's, like the one that came out back in 23 when we got like an official teaser. I was I was excited for it because considering how I am with Five Nights at Freddy's, I was excited. I actually went with my girlfriend to see the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which was released the same year as Godzilla Minus One. So I saw that with her. I loved it. What I loved about the movie is that they played the. It might have been the very first song that we got of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is." I know Five Nights at Freddy's technically started in 2014, which when the first game came out. Excuse me. And again, also, what am I saying? Which I obviously knew that Five Nights at Freddy's started in 2014, 12 years ago, and yeah. So moving moving on, I was excited for the second movie. I know people had their opinions on the second movie, which wasn't that scary enough, but really, it was. I would say there were some parts of the film that were scary, especially when the that one character got possessed by the marionette, and when she got possessed, those soulless eyes. But that was they definitely amped up. Excuse me. I ate before I did this. Excuse me. They definitely amped it up a little bit with that. That was terrifying. I think the first one had a couple of jump scare moments, especially with that balloon boy figure that kept popping up in your face and whatnot. So that kind of got me a few times when I first saw the movie in 23. But yeah. So other than that, I still love this franchise. I still play the four games. I haven't. Oh, I played Sister Location one time on my old tablet. I just never got around to finishing it because I thought it was uninteresting. But maybe I might play it on this computer when when I move out of here and whatnot. So yeah, and I'm excited to see what we definitely got a few announcements for the 12 year anniversary of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think we're getting two new games. I think. Sorry, I'm a little bit stuffy. Not sick, just stuffy. That's all. And I think I heard that there's gonna be a real life Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in New Jersey. Hopefully that doesn't. Hope that might not go well, because we don't know how that turned out with the games. Hopefully it's not gonna turn out with the games. But I think it's still pretty cool that even though it's in New Jersey, that's pretty cool though. I hope it doesn't end up like how the games went. But other than that, I am looking forward to see what the future has in store for this franchise. I'm just gonna keep playing the games, or the main four games. I might play the old ones like Sister Location, the sixth game. I forgot how many games came out in total after the four game. I know Sister Location after the five games. My bad. But yeah. Other than that, I don't have anything else to mention that I haven't already said. I still love this franchise. I know this franchise has opinion. I know people have their opinions on this franchise, but for me, as a fan since 2015, I still love it. I'll keep playing the games and whatnot. So, other than that, that's basically my little bit of a backstory of how I became a fan of the of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm looking forward to seeing the third movie when that comes out. Whenever we'll just have to see. I'm curious. I'm curious of how they're going to do that and whatnot. But it's too early to tell. We'll just have to see what happens moving forward. So, and other than that, that's it for this video. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.